Big stream or big screen? Cinema or sofa? Where are you going to spend your hard earned money? This is Netflix versus cinema. We are coming to you on the day of the solar eclipse, so we have to get this thing on the road quickly so we can get it over quickly so we can go and not stare directly at the sun. Isn't that right, guys? Not
Isn't that
stare
right?
directly at the
Don't shut the sun.
Don't stare at the sun. All right, it's funny because by the time anybody listens to this, it will be over. So that's not even a PSA. That's just us talking to ourselves. My name is Tosin, and I am the host. I'm based up in a place called Bromsgrove in the middle of the country. And joining me, as always, on the Isle of Wight is Shaun Harris. Welcome back, Shaun.
Thank you. Yeah, nice to be back. Nice to be together again.
Yes, Shaun. Shaun just come back from the southern tip of Africa, where he's telling us he was surprised to find out it was cold. You and me both, Shaun. You and me both. Also joining us on the Isle of Wight is Sharon Bolland.
Hello. Sorry, I just had a mouthful of drink just then. But hello.
Yes, no, Sharon, I waited specifically for that point before I tried to introduce you. And joining us from London is a London correspondent, Holly Nesling.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Right, cool. So what we do on this show, as the name might indicate, Netflix versus cinema, we go and watch things in the cinema, we rate them out of 5. We go and watch things at home on first streaming platforms, rate them out of 5. And then we put them up against each other, see where money has been better spent this week. So, apologies if I'm speaking a little bit quickly. There's an eclipse coming. So, Shaun, let's kick off with you. I mean, I can tell you that you can tell Shaun is back because I think this is the first time in a couple of weeks where we have more than one film in the cinema.
Yeah.
So what is it that you have seen this week at the cinema?
Okay, so I went a little bit beast mode. I thought because I mean, Odyssey and Spider-Man were two.
You missed a little bit. Yeah,
they were the big ones, and then so I went to see on Monday. I went to see the Odyssey in the afternoon, and then there was a unlimited showing of End of Oak Street. There was an unlimited, so I did like a double bill, and then on the Tuesday I went to see the Spider-Man, and I text Sharon and went to Weatherspoons for some scampi and chips, and then went and saw the secret screening of Tony. So yeah,
Tony. Okay, cool. Tony. All right, cool. And Sharon?
I have only seen the secret screening of Tony at the cinema.
Okay. And Holly?
I have seen nothing at the cinema.
You've seen nothing at cinema, I think that was that. Nothing. Okay, cool. Nothing at cinemas for Holly. All right, cool. And we almost had 3 things because I was going to go see Nimrods, a Green Day comedy, which is on at the cinemas randomly for one day yesterday. But unfortunately, I missed that because I had to be in London. So yeah, I think cinema is recovering a little bit from the Odyssey, 1-2 punch of the Odyssey and Spider-Man. Other people are beginning to go, maybe we'll release a film, maybe we'll see how it goes, we'll see what's going on there. All right, cool. How about at home? Holly, what did you see at home?
I have seen The Devil's Mouth and Possession.
The Devil's Mouth and Possession. So The Devil's Mouth, you went into the world with the terrible shark movie. Devil, don't tell us if this is terrible or not yet.
I'm staying
because
silent.
you missed, I think you missed an episode. Shaun and me. I mean, actually, Sharon, were you around when
I was there for
terrible?
Yeah, terrible
for the whole
shark
terrible-
film. I was there.
Okay, for the whole terrible shark film. Yeah, Shaun, there was a whole episode that got taken over by terrible shark films. And how Amazon now the Amazon is essentially replacing Blockbuster as the bargain bin place. It is also replacing Blockbuster as the place for terrible shark films. There's so many on there. There's just terrible creature
there's
films.
mega octopuses and mega rats and megas all sorts. And I think there was one I probably watched, which was Winnie the Pooh or something, or not Winnie the Pooh, some.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, Pooh, Blood and Honey.
It might be Pooh, but no, the one, there was that one, which I think we did.
I think there are 2 of those. But
There's
again,
2 of them.
I'm not sure if
I'm sure the
in
one that-
classic fashion the sequel is actually to do with the original.
I'm sure there's
I
one
don't know if this is
I've
another
seen
troll
recently, which
case.
shit.
Yeah, sorry, Sharon, you were saying?
Yeah, see this one. I think there's something going on a ship. I've seen, but I don't know. I've seen. The trouble is, it's like when I said to you in the thing. The thing is, I've seen so much on streaming. So I mean, I've got YouTube. I've seen shorts. I've seen documentaries. Started to watch about 15 things and thought, oh, this ain't no good. This ain't no good. This no good. So Yeah, so streaming for me, I'm afraid, is all a bit ad hoc. I could say I did watch a documentary on Guadalcanal, which was when the Americans, but so that was a whole documentary, like an old war one, explaining Guadalcanal.
Okay. All right, but it's because but I think you were making a point about streaming. I think you and your friend, your good friend Quentin Tarantino, you like yeah talking about like you were like that's the problem with streaming. Like there's too much, so you don't really remember what you've seen.
You don't remember what you've seen, no?
Although, as I said, I did recommend Letterboxd to you and Holly.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of keeping track of what it is that you've watched. Because and also talking about, essentially, you get to review a whole bunch of things that we might not even get around to on this show. Right, cool. So that is it, and let us kick. And with me, I think. Oh, I finally, because my family's away for a while, it means that the girls aren't around, which means I can do things like finally watch The Boys season 5.
Oh, good. I'd like to hear what you thought on that one. That'd be good.
Yeah, finally watch The Boys season 5. But if we have some time at the end, I will let you know what it is that I thought.
Yeah, and maybe at the end, as I say, I could give you my feelings on Spidey and Odyssey.
On Spidey and Odyssey. You can tell us about Spidey and Odyssey, and I can give you a little bit about what I thought about The Boys season 5. All right, cool. Let us kick off then, and let us kick off in cinema as is I won't, and let us kick off with the end of hang on, wait a second. Sharon, let me ask you what you've seen at home.
I haven't seen anything, so that's an easy answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for not making me. Thank you for sparing my blushes. All right. So let's start off with the end of Oak Street. Sharon, Shaun, who wants to take it?
Okay, yeah, I can take it. I don't think Sharon's seen Oak Street, have you?
Oh no, you saw Tony. Okay, cool. Shaun, tell us about End of Oak Street.
Okay, so End of Oak Street. So this is, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the trailer. So this is basically a nice suburban family, a nice suburban neighbourhood. You know, everything sort of. One of the neighbours keeps moaning about the family's dog, you know, doing stuff on the lawn and stuff. And so he's a bit odd. And then this strange phenomenon happened. This strange light glows, and they sort of appear in a completely different universe or time zone or whatever you want to call it, where some strange things happen and these strange plants start to grow and what have you. And so basically it's like, what can we say? It's
essentially dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, yeah. So it's
you have a suburban neighborhood that gets transported to a place where there's dinosaurs.
That's it, exactly right. Yeah, that's it. And then it's like a survival thing with neighbours getting killed and really weird shaped worms or snakes that look quite nice, but they're not so nice. You know, always reminds you of, you know, in Jurassic Park, there's those little frill monsters, isn't there? They go, woo, woo, woo.
Yes. The Diplosaurus.
Start pitting stuff. And so there's a few bits like that. It's a bit cliched. It's a bit, I don't know what the word is. It's silly and it's stupid.
Okay. All these are not necessarily bad things. The question.
No. I'm not saying, because it doesn't take itself seriously. This film does not take it. And, it doesn't. It's not like it doesn't take itself seriously. And there's some daft, silly stuff that happens, and you know, it always fascinates me. Like something like the speed of animal. You know, sometimes they're like super fast, and other times people can run away from them. You know, like giant things with about in one space they'd probably catch you up. But that was. And I thought the acting was a little bit hammy. So sorry about that.
No. But the thing is, I actually so because this film has Anne Hathaway, it's got Anne Hathaway in it. It's got Patrick Wilson, so it's got like, you know, some heavy hitters in the cast, like people who you would recognize.
Yeah.
And but I was thinking, but this film, the plot line of this film, this is going to be B movie territory. This is going to be B movie territory. But the fact that you have Anne Hathaway is making me wonder whether you're trying to say something a little bit more.
What? Because as of being in, So
what they're trying to say a little bit more, because everything you've said is like, this is what I expect the film should be. If this film is done right, this film should be stupid. It should be silly, because you have a suburban neighborhood being invaded by dinosaurs. That is silly.
That's silly in itself, isn't it?
That is silly in itself. So all in all, I'm like, it should be. So does it do that well? Does it execute that silly, not taking itself too seriously thing well?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, for me, I wasn't like majorly gripped by it. It was like you say, B-movie fodder, really.
Yeah.
I think some of the characters were quite good, but the ending I thought was very, very convenient. So that's all I'm going to say. It was like, oh right, okay, because no, I can't really do it because it'd be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say nothing. But yeah,
Thank
so
you, Shaun.
let's just say it's a very convenient ending how things work out. You know, when there's like strange events happen, and then suddenly, you know, well, whatever. You'll have to see it and make your own mind up on it. I know Sharon's intrigued.
Oh, I'm definitely intrigued that it might be the only thing, but it might be the big thing out next week because it's not released yet. It's going to be released next week, I think.
I think
It
it's
might be the
Friday.
big thing.
I think it's Friday it comes out. So,
Yeah.
so
It might be the big thing around next year we'll see. So how many stars would you give End of Oak Street?
3 stars. Just a
3
bang,
stars.
back down the middle. 3 stars. Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like that film. I mean, I just don't see what more you can do. I mean, it's the question is how long was the film? Did it feel longer than 90 minutes?
A little bit, really. Yeah. I think it did. But then that might have been bearing in mind that I'd seen a movie before, and
Okay, cool.
yeah, you know. But yeah. So I mean, it might have just been that I was feeling that a little bit tired. Because that was similar with the Odyssey. Towards the end, I found the Odyssey trying, but I think that might have been. I mean, I got back.
That is almost 3 hours. That is
Yeah.
that is almost 3 hours. So I think it's fair. Okay, End of Oak Street is an hour and 40 minutes, which is 10 minutes longer than the perfect length, but still close to it. At least it's not 2 hours because a film like The End of Oak Street. So it's not Patrick Wilson. It's Ewan McGregor.
It's Ewan McGregor, yeah, with a really, really hammy American accent. You know what I mean?
What?
He's supposed to be. He's
I
like
think
a nice dad.
I don't think I've ever seen Ewan McGregor do an American accent that I felt fits him.
No, that's it. No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
every time he's done an American accent, I've always kind of thought, that's a bit.
Yeah, and that is a really, really good That's a really, really good observation, Toes. Because you know, the accent just it was like it's not right. It doesn't seem right. I don't know if it's because we know Ewan McGregor from Trainspotting and all the other stuff he's done that perhaps because we see him and he does those silly accents. But
Yeah, maybe. Okay, but speaking about good American accents, I've started watching Widow's Bay, Sharon and Holly. I started watching Widow's Bay, and there is an actress who I was shocked to find out is British in it. She's
Which
called
one
Katie.
is that?
Yeah, exactly. She's called Katie O'Flynn, and she is the secretary of the mayor.
Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia. Patricia is
Well,
actually English.
I did not know she was English.
She's not only English, she's like northern, like from somewhere near Manchester. Kind of like.
Wow.
And I was like, what the? Cool. She is amazing. Okay, all right.
What are you asking
And
me
now
to do? Lotus or something, isn't it? What are you asking me to do, Lotus? Nothing immoral. That's in episode 1, I think.
I'm on episode 3 so far. The sea hag has shown up, and so far it's good. It's good. All right, cool. And I can tell that my family's isn't around. Now let's go over to streaming stuff, and let's talk The Devil's Mouth because I've waited long enough. So Holly, take it away.
So, The Devil's Mouth is unsurprisingly, a shark film. It has a surprisingly good cast, which is, not that much of an achievement in this day.
I know it's the main person you know in this is Kathryn Newton.
Yes, thank you. So the premise of the film is that she is off on holiday with her best friend from university, who is a rather domineering character and who manipulates everybody into getting exactly what she wants, in theory for the good of everybody, but you can see where this goes. Another friend and her boyfriend, and yes, the best friend's boyfriend, and they're off in Thailand having a lovely, lovely holiday. And it begins with things going a little bit wrong with Kathryn Newton's character being left behind on when they're out on a boat. So relationships have become a little bit fraught. But then the next day they manage to go off on a cave exploration, cave diving expedition. These very beautiful eerie caves called the Devil's Mouth, which are freshwater. so should be all wonderfully safe. And off they go, but Kathryn Newton wants to do the slightly more sensible, gentle one, and unsurprisingly, her best friend does not want this. And slowly, things go wrong. It is a very silly film. Is it the worst shark film I have ever seen? No.
On about sharks, right? You'd have loved. You need to go to. I know it was a whale shark, but it was huge. It was a monster. I went on a sea safari when I was in Africa. Saw dolphins and a giant whale shark.
It looked amazing. Love a whale shark.
Yeah, it really was. I thought I couldn't believe how big it was. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, it was only snorkeling. It was like, oh my God. Because the people on the boat were saying, there, and you could see all people sort of going around it. Because apparently whale sharks are a little bit silly, you know, they're not the brightest of sharks.
I'm gonna guess that was in the South Africa leg of things.
Yes, yeah. No, that was Mozambique. That was off of Mozambique.
Mozambique. All right, okay, cool.
Yeah, a place called Tofu, which apparently has got loads.
All right, cool. Okay, back to the Devil's Mouth.
Sorry, yeah.
For some real life sharks to sort of like silly shark movies. So you said it's not the worst one. I'm picking up from you that this doesn't actually scratch your bad shark movie itch. It's too good to be a bad shark movie.
No, it's too mediocre to be either good or bad shark movie.
Okay.
It's a bit meh. It is perfectly watchable, but if you're me, you actively dislike almost everybody, and you're not sad if anybody dies. You're just kind of counting down until they do.
Yep.
I have a feeling it was reviewed as having the shark making roaring noises underwater, which is not a thing that sharks are known for doing, ever.
Yep.
So it's fine. It's fine. It's predictable.
Oh.
It does all of the things you expect it to do, and you get to the end of it and go, oh well, that was a film.
Oh wow, you're giving me a real sort of like, that Oscar Wilde quote about the only thing worse about being spoken about is not being spoken about.
Yeah.
You're giving me that kind of like, I can't be bothered. So how many stars would you give The Devil's Mouth? Let's put you out of your misery.
Oh, I'm gonna give it 1.5.
1.5.
And I feel I'm kind of being generous there.
So okay, big question: The Devil's Mouth or Deep Water? Which one would you watch again?
Deep Water.
Ooh.
Because it's more stupid.
Oh, that is scathing. Oh, wow,
Yeah.
So sorry, The Devil's Mouth. So sorry, Kathryn Newton. Ugh,
Yeah.
man,
And I
word.
like Kathryn Newton, so I was sad. I was hoping to be either blown away with its brilliance or that it would just be so hammed up that I would giggle non-stop, and it was a bit more of,
Yeah, Kathryn.
I don't like
Well,
these
let's hope she has some MCU money coming her way. Let's hope that she still shows up back in the Ant-Maniverse. All right, cool. And now let's go back to cinema and let us talk Tony. So, Sharon, you want to tell us about Tony?
Yeah, Tony was our secret screening film. So it's one that you go into blind. You don't know what you're going to see, what it's going to be about, or how long the film is going to be. So yesterday's film was Tony, a film I'd never heard of. And it is a film about a formative summer in the life of a man called Anthony Bourdain. Now,
Yes.
to the British audience, that name doesn't mean anything at all, largely. I mean, I'm sure some people have heard of him. I hadn't heard of him, and none of the people I went with had heard of him. But in America, he was something of a celebrity chef. He was a writer of some renown, of some fame. He did travel shows where he talked about world cuisine. He was quite highly regarded in the world of, cuisine and presenting, and he was a personality. So people anywhere other than us, I think, would have seen it with a bit of foreknowledge. So we went in a little bit cold, and it was just like, who is he? But anyway, so if you had a bit of foreknowledge, then it would probably make a lot more sense. But this is the summer of 1975. He is just coming out of sort of college, and his ambition is to become a writer, to become a serious writer. But serious as in he doesn't actually dream to do any work or do any writing, but his ambition, and he tells everyone, I'm a writer. and he's got a little bit of a crush on this one girl, and he's talking to her that, you know, he's planning on getting a scholarship and then clearing off for the summer, doing nothing but getting the money and then turning in a book at the end of it without much effort involved. And she says, well, actually, I'm going to my family's place in Cape Cod for the summer. And then he gets the idea of one night he doesn't get the scholarship, but he's told everyone he's getting it. So he clears off one day, gets on the ferry, goes to Cape Cod, and finds that she's actually got a life. He then makes some very poor choices, and by the mercy of this man's good nature, he's actually taken in by a restaurateur played by Antonio Banderas, who basically takes him in and gives him a job working in his kitchen. And over the course of this summer, you see him making one poor choice after another, quite frankly. But it has sort of these moments of like catharsis where there's something sort of dramatic happens, and it shapes the course of his life. I did a little bit of research on him afterwards, thinking, well, why would you make a film about this person? And to find out that a lot of the scenes you see do shape what you would, if you knew about him, you'd say, yes, this would make sense, these scenes. There's a scene about a picture in the restaurant that's very relevant, and a scene about a conversation he has about a book that become really relevant in his later life. I think so if you had that foreknowledge, it would probably give you a lot more appreciation of what you were seeing. But not knowing anything about him, I was a bit like, this man seems to make one poor choice after another. And he doesn't seem to learn anything. And he sort of falls into these sort of friendships where you're thinking, that's not a healthy friendship.
And it leads to him having his own movie.
Yeah, indeed.
And so it must be of renown, so that they've made a film about him. So I found it, sort of slightly challenging to get into, because obviously I had no idea who he was. But as a piece of filmmaking, they've captured that feel of 1975. I think some of the look, some of the music, some of the vibe was of like this. There's that mid 70s feel about it, where slightly more innocent age, but people were probably sowing the seeds of something that would happen later on, but in a more sort of laid back, innocent way. It's like before Jaws. So when you see these sort of East Coast sort of resort towns, you're not instantly thinking shark. And it's before the sort of the whole centenary, you know, the sort of the celebrations of the 1976 was like the centenary year where everything was a bit bah. So it was before that. So it sort of sets the scene.
And it's before Widow's Bay. So I'm not saying
before Widow's Bay. Yeah. So it captured a mood, but obviously looking at it from a point of view of having no idea who this man was, you felt a little bit separated from the story. But they told it well. And you get the feeling that had we known a little bit more about him before we saw it, a lot of the scenes would have made more sense. But no, I thought it was a good piece of filmmaking. Shaun.
Okay, go. Shaun, you've been trying to say something.
I have, yeah. I just want to say I love it when I see a film with Sharon, because she can explain it so eloquently. I just love it. That's like perfect. That's like a perfect thing, and I can just give my emotionally.
Shaun, I love it. I love it when you see a film with Sharon, because whenever you see a film with Sharon, when it comes to review it, after Sharon has done that, you always say that.
Yeah, I do. It's brilliant. So good. I wish we'd have seen the Oak Street one together, because she would have explained it much more eloquently. Anyway, no, I was going to say, yeah, it really did what Sharon picked up there with the vibe of 1975. Because remember, I'd have been 15 then. So, and I remember seeing the TV programs, and it looked like that. You know, they had the same. I could recognise like the fashions, and the TV shows were that's what they looked like on TV shows. Welcome Back, Kotter, and all that. And I remember the John Travolta thing where he was those sort of clubs. Anyway, he
was the thing in '75. Yeah,
that's it. So Sharon just said that perfectly. I don't think I can say much else than that. She always does such a wonderful job of explaining the movie.
Okay, but with that, I'll get on to what you thought about the film, Shaun. But so talking about Sharon's point about not knowing who Anthony Bourdain was, because he's as essentially the first time I ever heard about him was because Netflix opened up and they had all these things about cooking with Bourdain around the world, and they were doing all these shows like they showed up on Netflix, and I was like, who the heck is this guy? But I was thinking that even as a Yankophile, I'm not sure what they're called, but that's what you are, Shaun. You love everything in America. Did you actually know about Anthony Bourdain before you went to see
I didn't. No, I got to be honest.
Okay. All right, cool.
No, I had no idea.
So what did you think of the film then?
Okay, so pretty much the same as Sharon. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't think it was, amazingly. Funny enough, and the 70s reminded me of like that sort of 70s era of like love story in a strange sort of way. I know it wasn't love story,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, so do you know the vibe?
Oh, yeah.
It was that sort of. It was a sort of, you know, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
that's,
it
you're
was.
probably not wrong, because I looked up some. did some research afterwards, and you're not wrong actually in some of those themes in it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so that's
but
it. Felt to
I
me
think
like the 70s. I think there was a couple of Robert Redford films as well, like The Way We Were and all those sort of things, and it's that captures that. It's that sort of vibe. So you know, that's so yeah. I
okay.
didn't dislike it. I wouldn't say it was amazing. So for me, star wise, I'll probably say it's another straight 3.
Okay.
I'll
And
be the same. I give it
Sharon.
about a 3. I'm happy
Okay.
with 3, maybe 3.25, because I thought it had, yeah, yeah, it was done well.
Yeah,
But
I think it.
I think for the British audience, it probably has a limited appeal, because I think you'd probably have to know who it was for it to become.
And who doesn't like Antonio Banderas?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna sit here and wait for the film called Gordon, and then we'll really be into it.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it? That'd be funny. That would be funny.
Holly, have you
So
heard of
yeah,
Anthony Bourdain?
The name's familiar, but not enough to say anything
No.
with any certainty.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, because when I spoke to people, no one I've spoken to has heard of him. So it's obviously in certain circles you may have.
I just remember his picture. I've seen his picture, and I remember him looking like Eric Bogosian, who plays the bad guy in Under Siege 2. And he has similar sort of curly hair anyway, like the real Anthony Bourdain. But he is played by, I know he's played in this film by Dominic Sessa from your favorite, The Holdovers, Sharon, and Holly's favorite as well. So it plays Dominic Sessa. But anyway, never mind. That's my little thing. And also, this film is weird because it was directed by the same guy who directed Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. And from what I hear, these are 2 very different films.
Yeah.
But Shaun, that's something I would say that I would still like to see. I'd like to see what you think of it when you watch it, because I'm really intrigued to see what you think about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Because I think you might hate it, but then again, it might be one of those weird films that you love.
Yeah, that's it, really. I mean, I think I'm going to try and hopefully before it goes see The Ice Cream Man or whatever it's called. So
Yeah, that's nice.
I mean, yeah, so I might go and see that. I don't know if you're up for it, Sharon, but it seemed like Happy John and everyone else hated it, thought it was awful.
I'm not sure about that. When I saw that, I haven't seen anything of the trailers, so I'm not sure about it.
Well, it's Sharon. If this helps, it's directed by Eli Roth, which
Right.
I think might put it right off your radar. Right off
Yeah.
your radar.
I've seen some of his, but yeah, I have this sort of dichotomy sometimes. I like to go into a film cold. I quite like the secret screenings. But I do quite like to see a film completely cold, completely and with no preconceived ideas, with no sort of anticipating certain scenes or whatever. I just want to tell me the story, please, without.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I see a film, I'm thinking, I don't know enough about that to want to make a punt on it. So I feel that conflict within myself, that wanting not to see the trailer, but then when it's completely out there, thinking, well what is it? So I feel that conflict within myself.
Oh, all right, cool. So now let's go back to home viewing and let us talk possession. Possession. This is one thing I wanted to say though is like I really, really wish I had seen a film called The Last House on Netflix, because I think it would have made a good double header to put The End of Oak Street up against The Last House, because I feel that these are 2 films that came possibly out of the same pitch meeting. Like in my head, 2 people went in to pitch a film to film executives, and then they split. And one of them wrote The End of Oak Street, and the other one wrote The Last House. So Shaun, it's on Netflix, so I know that you're not likely going to watch it because it's not Prime Video. But
Right.
but I was hoping that I was going to watch that. But the problem was I didn't think End of Oak Street was going to be released until next week, so I got lazy and didn't bother watching it. But anyway, Holly, let us talk Possession. This is, from what I can understand, Gugu Mbatha Raw, Jamaica, Sky.
Exactly that. So Possession is a 5-part series on Sky that has very recently come out, all of which I binged yesterday evening. As additional context, I started watching it the other week, but I was completely exhausted, so didn't pay attention, so started it again yesterday, and I'm very glad I did. So Gugu Mbatha Raw, who I always think is wonderful,
Yep.
plays a lawyer in the UK who is the daughter of a Jamaican mother and a white British father. And her mother died when she was born, so she has been raised by her father. She is clearly a successful lawyer, and she works for a fancy schmancy firm with some very rich clients. And one of their clients, who had moved to Jamaica some years prior, has died and has left his estate rather than to his only son, but to somebody that they do not know, whose name is Cudjoe East. And she is asked, because the optics might be better if you don't send a white lawyer off to Jamaica, if she would go to Jamaica to investigate the circumstances, connect with their lawyer.
Can you hear that, makers of Death in Paradise? Can you hear that? Never mind.
Yes, you can. Except the good news is, it's not a white man who goes; it's a black woman. So
I know.
And it's not also that she's going because she is British and superior. She is going because it's their client and they really don't want to lose the money. So it goes in with this sort of financial view, and she arrives there having manoeuvred herself into a promotion and a partner role, because a partner has to go and deal with these things. Beautifully done. Off she goes and is met at the airport by somebody who is astounded to discover and just says, "You're black," and she goes, "Yes."
I've seen that scene. I've seen that scene where the guy picks up at the airport, and straight away I was like, I think I'm gonna like this show, because I think this show is gonna delve into. I think this show is gonna delve into some knotty issues that you don't see on TV that often.
Yes, it does. So it then involves her collector taking her out to this plantation home of the recently deceased client, and she arrives as they are beginning a 9-night celebration to help his spirit pass on, and she sort of settles down in the house to start investigating what might be there, to try to understand why he has left all of his money, £50 million or something, to somebody that nobody has ever heard of, and is quite an elusive individual. And in doing so, she goes down various rabbit holes of witchcraft, of behaviour of spirits, of history, of slavery in the Caribbean, and it plays with the multiple ways that the word possession can be used.
Yeah.
And
so the thing is, I think because I know that there's a lot of talk even in the trailers about the ancestors, and essentially going into sort of like Caribbean spiritualism, which obviously has its roots in African and most specifically West African spiritualism. And so there's things about this I'm watching going, I think I will like this when I finally get off my ass and get around to watching it.
I think you will like it as well. It's beautifully shot, really beautifully shot. The scenery is gorgeous. This plantation house is quite something. The use of light and dark, and as it looks at different periods of history, the candlelight, there's a lot that's done in the dark in the history. So it's very cleverly thought through, and I have to say I really, really liked it. The guy who plays I can never remember his name.
Johnny Lee Miller?
No, though he is very good in it. And I do like Johnny Lee Miller. No, the Cudjoe East, who is the recipient of the money. He was.
Yeah.
He's very good. He was in, amongst other things, One Love. He's very, very good in it. He's a poet as well. He's got really good screen presence. I would say I really, really liked it. I'm not sure if it's one for you, Sharon. You have to watch it. I really want to know what you think.
But I think it's because I know that there's bits where they go back to, like, the slavery period where they have these plantation owners and the slaves and everything like that. And I know that I don't particularly like watching things that seem to just revel in cruelty to black people. But I feel like this one, I'm like this. I think this is going to have a more nuanced take. Everything I've seen about this tells me that this, in my head, this is the way to do it. Everything I've seen about that, and also I feel like the Jamaica that they show in the Jamaica that they show in the trailers and everything like that, it feels a lot more authentic. Not, and this is a weird thing to say, having never been to Jamaica, but it feels a lot more authentic. It feels a lot more lived in. The accents don't sound like, I'm really trying to punch the fact that I'm Jamaican, man.
Yeah.
They just sound like it just sounds like people just talking, because it's like it's not like I want to show you that I went to the accent coach and this is what they told me to do, and therefore I have to put all the money on the screen. It's just people talking.
I think a lot of the cast may well be Jamaican as well, so
I think so too. And it shouldn't be revolutionary.
No,
it shouldn't be revolutionary to cast Jamaican people as Jamaicans, but it is
shocking and astounding. But it feels normal. I don't mean the accents or anything else. I mean the entire structure. It feels, and gritty is the wrong word, because gritty sounds trite, but everything in England is normal as well. There's not affectations. It's not. It doesn't glamorize.
It's not. This is normal and that is otherworldly.
No, and it doesn't glamorize things, and it's not saying, all slavery is awful. It's not saying slavery is good, just to be clear, but it shows the different attitudes and behaviours from people involved in slavery, and so it gives you a sort of collective view of something that, I mean, it's not complicated, obviously. Keeping people as slaves is bad. I don't think that requires much of a debate. But people and behaviours and complexities and how they prioritise their own needs versus other people's needs, and I thought it was really very good.
Cool. How many stars?
I'm going 4.5.
4.5 for Possession. There's also another thing that I've been watching, which was giving me very similar feels to this. Although I feel like this show, that I haven't finished watching it, but I feel like this show is positioned a lot more to be the anti-Death in Paradise. And I know that for a show I don't watch, I talk about that show way too much. But it's called Get Millie Black on Channel 4. And the depiction, it has a London police officer who goes over to Jamaica and joins the police force in Jamaica and everything like that. Only that this time she's a black woman who is originally from. And I was watching this show going, yeah, oh yeah. This is the kind of Jamaica I want to see on screen. But anyway, okay, so that's that. So quick question: who do you think has won this week? While I hurriedly calculate the scores.
Well, I mean, Holly's 4.5 would have brought streaming up quite
Remember that my
considerably,
first film was also streaming, and I was being very generous with giving it 1.5.
Yeah, so the streaming's got a total of like something like 5.75, and Cinema's got 6. So I'd say,
I think so.
25. I don't know.
That's
okay. I will let you know. That I've taken the average of Netflix and Cinema, and there is 0.625.
Right.
Yeah. So 0.0625.
Wow.
No. 0.0625 of a score in this whole thing, and the difference here was Sharon upgrading her score from 3 to 3.25, which means that Cinema has won it this week.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes, and the Devil's Mouth dragged streaming down.
Yeah.
Possession did its best to pull it back up, but it came back to an average of 3. So yeah. Oh, look at this. Maths is fun, kids.
Maths is the best.
Math is fun. All right, cool. So now, Yeah, thanks. So that's us done for that. So now we're just gonna do it. We're gonna get up into feedback corner and feedback of all sorts. Feedback of people get in touch with us on there, of people seeing films we've already reviewed. So Shaun, I'm gonna let you go first. Tell us. Let's go in order they were released. What did you think of the Odyssey?
The Odyssey, yeah, I quite liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I I found it got a little bit dragged out towards the end, but that might have been because I was perhaps getting tired or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, it was good. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it's absolutely brilliant. It's not absolutely a masterpiece. They left a hell of a lot of the Odyssey out. It was reasonable, and I'm assuming being Nolan, it was probably shot on celluloid. So
it was. It was
the look
celluloid.
of it was lovely. The look of it was lovely. Yeah.
It was shot on celluloid. It was shot on actual water. It was actually he actually went and shot on the sea with all these boats and everything like that. So because
Yeah, I did like.
CGI extras.
Pardon?
It was real extras. So when you see that in Hades, all those figures that rise up, they're all real people, not CGI people.
And I like that. I think that was one thing that I liked about it. So yeah, on the whole, I think it was a really, really decent effort, and I'd give it a 3.75 for that one.
All right, cool, good for the. And okay, we'll split it. I'll go with The Boys season 5. You wanted to know what I thought about The Boys season 5?
Yes.
And I think The Boys should have ended in season 4.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. Yeah. I'm sure you thought that. I'll let you.
Because the thing is, like, The Boys season 5, a lot of it was it just felt like it felt like reaching around for a story, around trying to find a reason to continue this thing going, and it's really annoying because they do this whole thing where they have like for the most of the season there's this push, we need to find this thing, we need to find this thing, we need to stop this person getting this thing, we need to, and then that comes to an end 2 episodes to the end of the season, and then and they've made the whole thing going like, if we don't do this the world's gonna end, if we don't do this we've all lost, and then they lose that fight, and then in 2 episodes they find another solution magically that that rounds the whole thing up, and I'm just kind of like, it just feels like you just wasted our time and you were just puttering along and you knew you had 10 episodes and you had to fill them up, so you came up with this crap, and then
there was no effort put into it, was there? It felt like it was just let's come up with a story, and it was dumbass at the end anyway. So.
It felt like there was it felt like they had a certain amount of time to fill, and they had to fill it. Whether they had an idea or not, they had to fill the time that they had. It was a bit stupid. And when you say it was dumbass, yeah, I think there were a lot of questions that were like, hang on a second, but what if that, and if you did that, and then and a bit like, I mean, you were talking about the Odyssey, and I feel like the reviews of the Odyssey are split between people who are comparing the film to the poem and people who are just looking at this thing like a film. And a bit like with The Boys, because I have the comics, I've read the comics, so I've known where a lot of these things were going, and I can see how they've deviated from the comics, and then they try to bring it back towards the end. Like there's a whole thing about the crowbar, which is straight from the comics, and I was just kind of like, no. So I feel like if they'd finished it in season 4, and if they'd wrapped up the storylines in season 4, it would have been a little bit better. And I think they seem to be thinking that because they've cancelled Gen V as well, and they're supposed to be doing a preview season called Vought Rising, which is supposed to be about the rise of Vought in the 60s and stuff like that, which I'm not sure they're gonna do. But anyway, that's what I thought about Boys season 5. And Shaun, Spidey, because some of the feedback that we've I was just going to say, some of the feedback that we've been getting online on YouTube seems to just talk about how bored the women look when we go on about things, and I just realized that we're falling into it again.
I have never looked bored when we've been talking about Spidey. I will have you know, though I have not watched The Boys.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It was actually one of the comments we got was on a short we placed up about me talking about Spider-Man, and the comment is something along the lines of, does she not want to be there, or something like that?
Oh dear. Which? What are we talking, Holly or Sharon?
That would be me.
Oh, this was Holly.
I wasn't there.
I definitely wanted to be there.
All right, cool. I'm just saying.
Do I always look bored? I am never bored.
I'm just reporting what the internet is saying. All
Well,
right,
tell
go.
the
Okay,
internet
Sean.
need glasses.
Okay, but now, Sean, Sharon, Holly, get your most bored faces on
Yeah, you
because
got
this is
to do
going to
that.
be.
You've got to be bored. If
Okay,
you,
okay,
I won't be too long. I won't be too long.
okay, Sean. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. What did you think?
Okay, I did see your chat about it, about him. You know, it being like so everything
Sufferhead.
was really really bad. You know, it's like, and I mean, it is that in the comics, like you said, it is. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of bad stuff happens, but I mean, yeah, I quite liked it. I thought it was all right. It was quite good as a sort of. It feels like a reboot. You know, it feels to me like
A
it's
little bit of it, yeah, yeah.
a little bit of a reboot, and I'm thinking there might be a little bit of another love interest there with Jean.
With
In
with,
the- oh,
with the person whose name we shall not mention because
oh, right, okay, oh yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
Because in the comics, wasn't there? There was, and I think in one of the films, because it was Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane, wasn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. Mary Jane is the Spider-Man love interest. Mary Jane is the MJ she is the Spider-Man love interest. But
Yeah,
there
yeah,
have been others. There's been Felicia Hardy. There's been Gwen Stacy. There's been all this stuff. There's probably stuff that has happened in comics I haven't read. So it's like,
Yeah. So many of them. But yeah, and it looks like, so to me, this looks like a boot because I think the Hulk's become, you know, well, I won't say, but it's sort of in the trailer and on the poster. So yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right. I thought it was quite good as a reboot because I think I was expecting it to be a little bit of a letdown, but on the whole, I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed the film.
yeah. I thought they nailed this one, man. I really thought they nailed this film.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of the Punisher?
Yeah, he let it down. He let it down. I'm sorry, he let it down. That's what. Yeah. So yeah, no, he let it down because remember when I did that review of
Of Punisher One Last Kill, yeah.
One Last Kill, yeah, and it was he's not the Punisher I know. I mean, in the TV series, I quite liked the TV series that he did because it was more. But he's, you know, it's I don't know. Yeah, no, it's not my Punisher.
Let's just say that there's a couple of times when he shows emotion, and I was like, I'm not sure Sean's gonna like that.
No, he didn't. He didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. You know, he was not like that. So,
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, now let's just go into a little bit of feedback that we've been getting. And just first of all, I'd like to say there were two ladies who I met when I watched Spider-Man Brand New Day, speaking about that, and that's Uta and her daughter Elizabeth, because her daughter Elizabeth is actually in the film. As like she was on set, yeah, she was on set of Spider-Man, and so I was sat beside Uta in the screening, and then when the credits came up, she sort of took out her phone and was taking pictures of the screen, and I was like, you know, somebody who worked then, and she was like, yes, my daughter, she sat over there, and I have invited Elizabeth onto the show to just for an interview to sort of say, okay, tell us what was it like being on set of the Marvel movie and everything like that, or where were you actually filming? Because it's been well publicized that none of this film was filmed in New York, and it's like, yeah, yes, Holly, none of it was filmed in Pinewood and in Scotland. A lot of New York is Glasgow, so it's yeah, and I've invited her along, and she said she has to check to see what her NDA says, to see whether, like, you know, Marvel will shoot her if she comes up and talks about it. So, Uta, Elizabeth, if you happen to be listening to this, we would still love to have you on the show. And, okay, so we've had some feedback on YouTube, and this is from Spider-Man stuff. So this is a reel we put up just called Spider-Man No One Knows Peter Parker. And I'm gonna have to blank this out because some people still haven't seen this film, and some of this is a massive spoiler for the film. So it says, I think the whole movie was and they have a name here. I'm gonna give you the initials, JG.
Mm-hmm.
Is JG and superhero group setup.
yeah.
So if you can think about it, you probably, if you've watched the film, you probably know what I'm talking about. It was a character and superhero group setup. Movie was mid, to be honest, and I don't think it was mid. I thought it was quite good. I just told them, I think it is the MCU, so obviously they're going to be setting up other things and everything like that. But as setups go, I thought this was very, very elegantly done. And there's a certain group of people, who, when they're giving us feedback, seem to want to come to our YouTube page and write essays. I mean, Sharon,
Saw that one.
Sharon,
Not racist essays this time, I hope.
Oh no! This is no racist essay. This is like a geek. This is like a geek essay. This is like essentially somebody just talking about because we're talking about Spider-Man being a sufferhead superhero and how this is like going back to the original of like what he was like. And this person goes through the history of Spider-Man, and he's talking about this. I'll give you a little bit. He says he did have Frank, so he's talking about Frank Castle. He was alone for half the movie. The only L, which is like, you know, American slang for the only loss he took, was losing Aunt May, and the fact that MJ was effing someone else. Toby suffered. So he's talking about Tobey Maguire. He's like, Toby suffered. Toby is the real Spider-Man and a great Peter Parker as well. Andrew was a great Peter... So Andrew Garfield was a great Peter Parker and nailed the witty banter that Spider-Man has. But overall, his movies weren't as good. Tom doesn't look the part for me. He doesn't sound the part either. Tom's struggles and responsibilities can always be shared. Tom's Peter Parker had an Iron Man level spider suit. Tony made sure he was never poor after meeting him. It's like seeing a millionaire lose his house.
Wow. He obviously didn't like it.
He got back MJ and his best friend after half a movie, and he did that willingly. His heroism doesn't feel like it was birthed from grief and eternal regret. Most importantly, his movies are never his own. It always drives a bigger main plot. I have so much more to say. I enjoy Tom and his movies, but I think that his role in the MCU doesn't lend itself to the true standalone plot. I hope they give him a simple one on a near-death epic battle in a small, intricate, confined space where his suit gets wrecked and he is bloody and beaten, and then his true character and resolve takes over almost as if he has tagged in Peter Parker himself as a stronger ally to win him his fight. That was from Johan Beatrice. As you can see, this person, I think Spider-Man inspires a lot of, what's the word? Emotion in people.
Emotion, yeah, it seems to. I think he's like some purists, you know. It's like in all films, isn't it? You get the purists that like.
Oh yeah, you get that, because the thing is, I feel like everything he says, they have actually done that, but probably just not the way that he wanted it to be done. All right, and okay, we have this one from Matthew Phelan, who says she doesn't seem interested at all. Is that the point? Talking about Holly.
I'm hurt. Have I lost facial expressions?
Yes, okay, and this one, I think Holly, you're gonna like this one. It's on Spider-Man as well. It says small potato problem.
Yes.
It says small potato problem. No banner, no girl, only Hulk.
You see, small potato problem is now a thing. I mean, I'm afraid it was just immediately adopted into common parlance. It's just how it works.
Small potato problem.
That's very much small potato problems.
And there's another one where somebody called LMS Land seems to think I'm a health nut. Because you know the one where Shaun, Shaun, where you referred to me as remembering Troy McClure, and you were like, oh yeah, I remember Troy McClure. It just says the certified health nut is now Troy. And I'm like, and it took me a while to figure out what they were talking about, and I think it's because I'm usually recording these before I go play tennis, and we're usually wearing some kind of sports top or something.
Oh, and I think you're healthy because of that. That's funny.
Yeah, if that's what it takes to be healthy.
Friends like these.
Yeah, no. So I just replied, health nut, where? But that's it. So anyway, if any of you are listening to this and you think, you know what, I have stuff to say to them, do find us on YouTube. Find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, Netflix versus Cinema or Netflix versus Cinema Pod. Netflix vs Cinema. You will find us in all those places. And also, do like and subscribe us on YouTube. Do find us on everywhere you can download a good podcast to listen to the audio-only podcast and subscribe, so you never miss an episode of me talking, or of me and Shaun making the women look bored.
We're gonna have to have masks. We're gonna have to have those little paper masks that you sort of put up like that. So we don't know.
Demonstrating.
We could all have them at certain times. Yeah, bored.
I can just have a sort of rest from my chin.
We'll just get like some AI video to that just replaces your faces whenever you look bored. It's like detecting boredom. Hey, it's a party now.
Those, because AI are so good at representing us so well.
The AI things, they nail our faces every single time, guys. I mean, it is uncanny.
Be interesting to see,
I do get when I'm.
Try and do this one as we are now, Toes. AI us as we are now. That'd be interesting.
I was
Okay.
scrolling
Yeah, we'll
through
see.
scrolling through our messages to show my parents a picture of Muffin, and yeah, I got the AI Tosin and thought, ah, yes, a thing of beauty.
Yeah, AI Toes. Yeah.
The one that looks like your dad, that one.
Yeah,
Or someone's dad.
somebody's
You just
dad.
look like
Oh, weird. Okay, that's creepy. That's quite
you do look
random.
like a sort of like a mid-African sort of country's president.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Not a
yeah.
big country. It's all like one of the mid-sized countries, just their president.
100%, 100%. Okay. Oh, and before we go, one last bit of feedback, Holly. You know the thing we did about the poster for Deep Water?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody pointed out that it looks like Sean Bean and Ringo Starr.
Oh,
Instead of Aaron Eckhart and Ben Kingsley, it looks like Sean Bean and Ringo Starr. But anyway, until next week when we will go watch something and we'll come back and let you know about it. It's a goodbye from me.
So goodbye from me.
Goodbye for me.
and a goodbye from me.
Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Take care,
Eclipse!
everyone.
Eclipse time!